Hey friends, today I'm going to show you how to add a new yarn to your project. So you might be changing colors or you might be adding a new strand to the same color. Either way, these are the steps that you're going to use. I'm going to show you with the basic stitches how I change colors, and then I'll show you a little trick that you can use for any of the stitches. So I did some double crochet just so I have something to work into. We're going to start with the single crochet though. So for a single crochet, you're going to take your hook, you're going to insert into the next stitch, you yarn over, and pull up a loop. Now for changing colors or adding a new yarn, my trick is to stop at the last step of your stitch and then join. So at this point we would yarn over and pull through both loops on the hook. Well, that's the last step. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the old yarn and add my new yarn. So I add my new yarn just by making like a loop around my hook. And then I'm going to do that last step. Pull the yarn through both loops on the hook. Alright, then I'm going to hold this tail here of the new yarn and I'll hold the old yarn here behind my work. So that looks like this. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do another single crochet into the next stitch. So insert your hook into next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two. Now, as you notice here, this is all loose and it's kind of hard to work with when it's all loose. There's no reason to tighten it up at this point. Just go ahead and leave it. I'm going to do another stitch, just another single crochet, and then I'll show you how we fix that. So this is loose here and this one's loose here. And that's because these tails here were loose. Well, they're loose because they're not really holding on to anything. So all we have to do to fix that is tug on them. So you watch this loop here. Just tug it tight and tug it tight. And that's it. And then you can go ahead and weave these in with a tapestry needle into your work. Or you can crochet over them. I actually don't crochet over my ends. I prefer to weave them in. But if you wanted to crochet over them, let me go ahead and undo what I did here. And I'll show you how you do that. So here we are, 2 loops on the hook. This is the part where I added the yarn. Okay. And I pulled through those 2 loops. All right, at this point, instead of holding them behind like I was, go ahead and tug them. And you're gonna line them up right across your work horizontally. So when I do my next single crochet, not only am I going underneath my 2 loops I normally do, is I'm also gonna crochet around those 2 loops. So now you can see these loops are underneath here. So I'll do another one to show you. These go right here. Show you kind of from the back here. And I'm just crocheting right around them. Same thing, go ahead and tug on them, tighten everything up, and then you can just keep going all the way across until they're no longer there. So that's a great option. I just don't do it that way. I don't really have a real reason why I don't do it that way. I like to sew it in at the end. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to a half double crochet. All right, so let's get this undone. We're gonna do let me put a double crochet in there. All right, so now we're gonna do our half double crochet. Same thing. We are just gonna leave off that last step. So we're gonna yarn over like we would for a half double. We're gonna insert our hook into the next stitch. We're gonna bring up a loop. And this would be the last step. At this point, we would yarn over and pull through all 3. But we're gonna leave off the last step. Pull this behind. I like to hold mine with my finger. Take our new yarn. Okay, I didn't do anything fancy with it. It's just looped over the hook. And we're just going to pretend this is the old yarn and do what we were going to do. Pull through all 3. And that's it. So now I'm going to hold that tail and that old yarn back there. Go ahead and do my half double into the next stitch. It's okay that all this feels kind of wonky and loose. That's fine. We're going to fix that. I'm just doing another half double so I can get ahead and show you how we tighten it up again. And all we do is pull. There you go. All right, let's do it with a double crochet. We're going to yarn over. We're going to insert our hook into the next stitch. We're going to pull up a loop. At this point, we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through 2. The last step of a double crochet is where we yarn over and we pull through the last 2. Well, we're going to leave off that step. We're going to hold our old yarn behind. We're going to get our new yarn. There we go. Pull through our new yarn through those 2. Hold our ends behind our work like this, and then just continue. So double crochet into next, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'll do another one. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then we just tighten it up by tugging on the strands. And that's it. Nice and seamless. Now I'll show you what we do for a treble crochet. It's the same thing. We're going to yarn over twice. We're going to insert our hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. We're going to yarn over, we're going to pull through the next 2 loops. And the last step here would be yarn over and pull through these 2. So we're going to drop our old yarn, pick up our new yarn, we're just going to loop it around our hook, and we're going to pull it through. Drop our tail. Now I'm holding the new yarn's tail and the old yarn behind here with my fingers. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a treble stitch into the next 2. If you need any help with these stitches, just go ahead and follow my other tutorials on how to do a double crochet, how to do the treble stitch, how to do the half double. I didn't do those necessarily very slow because I already have tutorials on how to do those. This is just to change colors. So if you need a review, go back and review those. I think those videos are very helpful, especially the double crochet one. I see a lot of people do the double crochet wrong, and it's a really great one to review. Okay, there you go. Nice and seamless. So for any stitch that you use, you're going to leave off that last step, and that's when you add the new yarn. What I want to do is I have the last stitch here. I'm doing single crochet. I'm going to insert my hook into that stitch. I'm going to bring up a loop. Now I'm on the last step where I would pull through both, so I'm going to switch to the other color. Whip it around, and I'm going to pull it through. So if I'm going to change colors, I'm going to change colors on that last step for that stitch. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to single crochet across. So that's how you would do different colored rows. And then you would just sew in all the ends when you get finished, or just crochet on top of them. Now, you can add yarn another way too. It doesn't work for a color change, but you can add a new strand. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to do a double crochet, and I insert my hook into the work. As soon as you insert your hook into the work, go ahead and drop your strand and add your new one. So I'm just going to make a loop, pull up a loop, and then continue your double crochet as normal. And tighten everything up just by tugging on them. Now you can see why it doesn't work for a color change, because we have these contrasting colors in here, so it's not seamless. But if this was the blue, then you wouldn't be able to see it and it would work just fine. So the trick for doing that kind of add is as soon as the hook goes into the work. So I'll do a half double, insert hook into the work. I'm going to drop that off, add a new color. You just loop it on the hook, pull up a loop. Let's hold those tails back there with your fingers. Let's hold them down. And then I'm going to pull through all three because that's how you do a half double crochet. And there you go. A single crochet. Insert your hook into the stitch. Same thing, drop off the old one. I'll go ahead and grab this one. Oops. Here we go. Make a loop. Okay. Pull it up. Hold the tail back here. And we're going to pull the yarn through both loops like you would a single crochet. So I'm going to do a couple other single crochets so I can show you what we did here. So for this trick, oops, that's fine. So for this trick, as soon as you put your hook into the work and pull up a loop, you're pulling up that new strand for your loop. And as you can see, it does not work for a new color. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you love these videos and you want to see more, please subscribe.